Yeah, I haven't noticed that it didn't record. Sorry.
That's all right. We got.
As long as you got the video.
We've got the video. It's all that matters. Hello. So we've been recording guitars to happy people. By we, I mean myself, Jordan, and Dan. Mostly at Jordan's place. Slow going because it means finding time when all three of us can get together. Particularly because I've got a full-time job, and apparently I've signed a contract and have to turn up at 9 o'clock and do the job I'm paid for, and if I don't they won't give me any money, which is hardly fair. It's a bizarre way to organise the world as far as I'm concerned. You know, we're trying to make art here, that matters more surely. But apparently no, I've signed a contract, it's legally binding, all that. Slow going, but we're making progress. We're recording guitars in that newfangled way of just plugging the guitar into a box and letting that do all the work. Actually, that's not fair. It's Jordan and Dan who are doing all the work because they know what they're doing. This is the first one of my albums that will be recorded by someone who knows what they're doing. It's going to be a bizarre experience. It's going to sound really good. As well as knowing the way around the technical stuff, they've got ideas that I wouldn't necessarily come up with. So, for example, in the choruses of Happy People, there's not the sort of stabby, Telecaster-y British rock guitars I was imagining, but there is some power chords and then some clean ninth chord arpeggios over the top, which sound really good. And I never would have thought of that idea. I think that was Jordan's idea. It might have been Dan's. No, I think it was Jordan's idea. And it just sounds really good. It's really interesting. It's really creative. It's an interesting sort of little check on my ego, I think. I'm trying my best to not say, no, that's not what I originally thought of. We're doing it this way, which I think I've been pretty good at. What I really want to do with this album is for it to sound like the work of three of us rather than me just telling people what to do. And that's not the point of this album at all. It's collaboration. Let's make it collaborative, even if I'm the songwriter. And yeah, I'm really happy with how things are sounding. Jordan's pretty much done all his bass lines. He's a really good player. Just as impressed with him as I was with Michael on the drums. I've also really annoyed Jordan by sort of the way I record demos. I don't particularly pay attention to click tracks and the sort of the MIDI grid. At least I don't once the drums are done. Once the drums are done, I'll happily shift things around so that, for example, the beat one does not need to start straight on the first line of that grid. You know, if the previous section was slightly out of time in a way that works, you know, deliberately out of time, then fine, let's just shift the whole next section along, and if it's not lining up with the grid, well, who cares, because it's in time with itself. Jordan does not like this. Jordan does not also like where I've not bothered with time signatures. Because some of my songs change time signature quite a lot. That's a faff. I'm not going to put in all the markers. So what I'll do instead is just set up an accented metronome on the smallest relevant rhythmic unit. So maybe a semiquaver. So it'll just be and then you record to that, and you can change time signature as you're playing to record the guide tracks or whatever. But you don't need to bother with putting in all the time signature markers, because what's the point? You know, why would you need the time signature written out if it's not something that's going to include a written score? I've discovered Jordan does not like this. Jordan would much rather that I'd done all that work, and he has gone in and put in all that stuff in Cubase, which, you know, I hadn't intended to be annoying, but that's what you discover when you're working with other people. You know, that way of working works perfectly for me, not so much necessarily for other people. But then Jordan has made the deliberate decision. He took me aside and told me this is a deliberate decision to use Cubase to record, just because it really annoys Dan, which I thought was hilarious. Anyway, so here are some clips. Guitars are being done. It'll be definitely finished in September. It will definitely be finished in September, Dave. Bad Elephant will get their music.
Because the idea is that we don't want it too metal. Yeah. So whatever brings us out of the metal zone, we like it.
But metal's great.
Metal is great.
Metal's the best thing.
Not here, not now.
Oh, you're no fun.
It's too easy. It's too easy. Metal is too easy. In this case, sorry guys, I know I love metal. Don't get it wrong. But in this case, it's too easy. Just rock out.